Ace Carroway and the Great War, Chapter 1. Incoming bullets chipped wood and frayed fabric in the wings and body of the Spad biplane in a muted pitter-patter of death. The Allied pilot barrel-rolled the biplane left, but it was a feint. The Spad peeled out of the roll, rose sharply up, and looped backwards and upside down. The enemy pilot cursed when he realized he had not hit anything vital. He cursed again when his quarry soared above him. He tried to follow, but the airspeed of his Eindecker monoplane dropped. He almost stalled. For a few seconds, he slowly tipped over into a dive, knowing he was easy prey for the Spad. He expected bullets to fly and end it. The Spad passed by, its engine buzzing loud in the cold air. No bullets flew, but something heavy struck the edge of his cockpit and clattered downwards into the pedals. He glanced incredulously at the Spad. The Allied pilot, in leather cap and goggles, gave him a two-fingered salute. The momentary eye contact contained no hatred, only solemn respect, focused by the iron clench of a resolute jaw. And she was a woman. The enemy pilot's eyes followed the biplane as it banked away into the sunset. He shook off his stupor and looked down to his feet. Between the rudder pedals lay the tubular shape of an Allied grenade. He frantically reached for it, but it was too late. The next second, his plane was a fireball. The Allied fighter roared home. It was a French-built Spad, a wood frame covered in glue-soaked fabric. An aileron cable had been cut by a bullet. The pilot compensated for the broken aileron with the elevators and landed with deceptive ease. The ground crew ran to meet the plane as it rolled toward the hangar. The pilot killed its engine. The crew threw chocks under the wheels and rolled a ladder to bump against the cockpit. The pilot leapt out and down into a ring of handshaking and backslapping. "Ace!" the grease monkeys clamored. "Did you get another kill? How many is that now? 8 or 9? However many it is, you fellas deserve at least half the credit. When I needed some altitude, that Orkney engine sure delivered." Ace peeled her flyer's goggles and hat off, revealing gold-flecked eyes and short-cropped, gold-colored hair. A pilot wedged in among the British and French mechanics clustered around Ace. The pilot seized Ace's hand and pumped it in both of his, muttering, "Thank you, thank you." Ace was patient with it for a little while, but she disengaged and pounded the man on his leather jacket shoulder. "No big deal, Maxwell. That's why we fly in pairs. Gotta go. Time to debrief." Ace jogged off to report to the field commander. All eyes watched her leave, becoming pensive over time. "What's with you?" A British mechanic nudged the pilot. Maxwell said thickly, "She saved my life up there." "Ha!" barked a Frenchman. "You have a debt of gratitude now, mon ami. How and when will you pay it back?" "Well, if something happens to her," wondered a Brit. That earned the fellow a cuff on the back of the head. "Tais-toi! Quiet, man! Get to working! Tu me fatigues." Ace pushed open the door. Wing Commander Joyce Harcourt glanced up and commented dryly in Oxford accents. "I thought it might be you. Market shares in breath mints rose sharply today." "There's a career in vaudeville waiting for you after the war, Commander." "I doubt that, Ace. Listen, congratulations. Your whole wing made it back today. The reconnaissance flight over Favre, however, wasn't so lucky. I'm afraid Jean-Louis and Bildeston didn't return." "They got shot down? Weren't they flying at the ceiling?" Harcourt nodded. "Just so. Flying so high, they should have been safe for at least one pass. It takes a long time for enemy planes to scramble and get up to altitude. By then, the recon planes should be halfway home." "Bildeston, what a flyer! I can't believe they downed Bildeston." "It isn't only Jean-Louis and Bildeston. We lost Ableton over Favre last week." Ace mused. The Ottomans must have planes in the sky all the time, then, to prevent spying. The Ottoman Empire was the enemy. The Great War began when Germany secretly joined the Empire. Almost 3 years of bloody conflict later, the Ottomans held Belgium, Luxembourg, and large portions of France. Harcourt said, "Yes, and that's quite a waste of resources. There must be something deucedly important there, or the Ottomans wouldn't be protecting it like the crown jewels." "You want me to help out, Commander?" "Yes, I'm signing a whole wing to favor reconnaissance." 6 planes? That's almost a quarter of the Ghost Squadron. But the more we figure out, the quicker this war will be over, Ace replied quietly. "Indeed, you will lead the wing." "Me?" Ace looked evasively, left and right. "But I'm just a kid." "I know, and a girl kid at that. But you can't duck it, not with your list of kills. It's happening already. The other pilots look to you when they need a compass bearing." Ace stood quietly, mulling over the alien landscape of leadership. Commander Harcourt let her stew, looking for signs of panic in the young, serious face. Seeing none, she said, "Captain." Ace groaned. "I've been captain for what, 3 days?" "Yes, the awful price of becoming an ace pilot." "Speaking of that, how many kills today, Captain?" "2, Ace replied. "2. I'll just write that down. Dismissed." Harcourt gave a sketch of a salute. Ace saluted back. "My machine gun jammed after the first, though." Commander Harcourt narrowed her eyes at Ace. "How did you get a second kill without a machine gun?" "I winked at him," Ace said, reaching for the doorknob. The tall, golden pilot left. Looking at the closed door, Commander Harcourt muttered, "I halfway believe her." Ace closed the door on the noise of the officer's mess, still chewing a mouthful of stale biscuit. She fled toward the hangars. 2 mechanics were working on her Spad. One sliced off bullet-damaged skin, the other patched with fabric and dope. When the glue-soaked fabric dried, it would be stiff and airtight, but not bulletproof. In the quiet, a sullen east wind brought muted thunder from artillery at the front. "Bonsoir, Ace." Ace frowned. "Finished with the aileron already? Rats, I was going to help." "So sad. You are too slow. Go find Tripod. He salvaged some parts over there." The mechanic pointed with his knife toward the back corner of the hangar. "Oh, thanks." Ace jogged over to a pool of electric light, under which was the front end of a broken-backed Spad. A wiry figure hunched over the dented radial engine. His wrench hand was missing its pinky and ring fingers. Tripod glanced at Ace and gestured with his head to a toolbox. With a silent smile, Ace joined the disassembly. They laid out spark plugs, poppet valves, and push rods, sorting out good parts from damaged parts. Over a happy hour, a satisfying fatigue stole over the warm muscles of arms and shoulders. Ace took a break to stretch. She asked, "What's your name?" "Taha Hakim Tali." Tripod's teeth gleamed white in his dark face. "Tripod is easier. I don't mind. Tap that piston. Do you think the metal is fatigued?" Ace struck the gleaming cylinder with her wrench, listening to its ting. She nodded. "Yes, the steel is getting brittle. It's trash." "Where are you from? You're the only one here with skin darker than mine." "Algeria." "Oh, I'm sorry. It's as rough in Algeria as it is in France." "My town is invaded now," Tripod said. "I hope my sister and mother are all right." "My dad's safe in America." "You are American?" "Indian American. My mother was Indian, but she died when I was small. My father raised me." "Your father's a mechanic?" Ace laughed softly. "No, he builds ships, but he made sure I was educated." She smiled ruefully. "Well educated. Really well educated." Tripod's eyes narrowed. Such a scholar. Maybe you belong with the officers, not here in the grease. No, Tripod chuckled. Why do you say no? Do the men chase you? Not often. Maybe you have a certain look you make, a stare that is like ice water. What? No, I meant that I'm not good-looking. Tripod was unconvinced. So why'd you come here and not stay with the officers? I get impatient. I can't stand being idle. I don't talk just for the sake of talking. Well, you belong somewhere, Ace muttered. Maybe, maybe not. I do fine on my own. I've got to go. I've got to make sure they unjammed my machine gun. Harcourt kept the RAF couriers busy. She sent in a letter recommending Cecilia Ace Carroway for double ace status, the first pilot in the Ghost Squadron to down 10 planes. She also sent 2 letters that began, "It is with heartfelt sympathy and deep regret," for Jean-Louise's and Bilston's next of kin. Finally, Commander Harcourt sent 6 pilots off to die. Potentially, anyway. Although she maintained a properly British, stoic exterior, wartime decisions made Harcourt queasy. But she knew there was something near Verviers, Belgium, that Ottomans did not want seen. Knotted stomach or not, Harcourt scribbled the order for 6 planes to reconnoiter Verviers. It was a lot to throw at one recon mission, but Harcourt had a hunch it might be worth it, if the planes came back. If the planes did not come back, she would have to write more letters of condolence. And so, shortly after dawn, 6 biplanes lifted into the skies over France and flew into the rising sun.